So we are moving to our next session, Integrating Inter-Knowledge System with Academic and Research Curriculum by Professor U. Krishna Kumar.
Introducing Dr. U. Krishna Kumar, Director, Amrita School of Arts and Science, Kochi, and also Dean, Faculty of Arts, Media and Commerce, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. He is a trained instructor of yoga and meditation. Dr. U. Krishna Kumar functioned as principal investigator of a DST Cognitive Science Initiative project during 2014 to 18 and also worked as a team member for scripting and visualizing some short films of Department of Visual Media and Communication. Dr. Krishna Kumar is the life member of Patron, Computer Society of India and life member, Indian Society for Technical Education. I would like to welcome Dr. U. Krishna Kumar, sir. I call Professor G.M. Nair, President of KAS, to chair the session. Welcome, sir.
Humble namaskaram to every one of you. In addition to what they have introduced, I fell into the trap of Indian knowledge systems about 2-3 years back. I have been mostly working in the area of computing, especially computational biology and bioinformatics. Later on, I had the opportunity to work in the area of more of applying the spiritual principle, because I am a renunciate under the tutelage of Sadguru Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi. And she tells all of us who are working in her university, whenever you get a chance to explore the philosophical content of our great country, connected with technology, what you have learned, connected with administrative experiences, what you have gained from either India or abroad, both I have. So I don't leave a chance. So when I got this invitation to present my views on IKS, I already had a lot of this, I am telling you as an introduction. I had a lot of discussions with the IKS chairman, Professor Gandhi, and few others who are keenly working on IKS, in developing the IKS. So day before yesterday, I had a talk at Hyderabad, but since this is scheduled today, I came all the way to Trivandrum. It's actually culled out from a large set of slides containing about 250 slides. I have culled out about the crux of the thing, mainly to introduce the IKS concepts, and more importantly, that is the crux of the idea, which Professor Gandhi always tells me, Krishna, only few universities start introducing the IKS in their own areas or domains of learning. You take the initiative in driving across a direction towards doing it. He gave me a lot of inputs during a keen discussion for about more than 2 days. And the Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti chairperson, Chimu Krishnamurthy, he also gave me a lot of inputs on how to integrate the IKS concepts into our own domains of knowledge. Let it be technology, let it be medicine, let it be language, let it be agriculture, let it be Ayurveda, whatever. How to do it? What shall be the philosophical approach towards that? So we started discussing on that. And recently I gave a presentation in one of the UGC meetings also. So based on all this, I prepared a content of about 250 slides. I've taken only the core content here, very well knowing that this is a pre-lunch last session. So I will not take more than 15-20 minutes. Just to drive you across, another thing I checked yesterday with the booklet, I found, fortunately for me, no one is presenting anything on IKS. That's an advantage for me. That means I need not too much talk on IKS. I can introduce you to the IKS concepts, in what all areas it can be applied, and what shall be our approach, a proactive approach towards introducing the IKS into our curriculum, not only for the science, agriculture, or whatever domains, systematically introduce, right from the first semester onwards to the sixth semester. And then, how do you apply it? How do you validate it? And also, how do you make the best use of it for the benefit of the society? That will satisfy the need of the transformation of the mindset towards adapting the philosophical bent of the Swadeshi science. What we have been all hearing was pure science only till now. So, let me introduce you to the concepts of this. It's just a roadmap, the charting our future with the compass of Indian knowledge systems. So, it can be viewed in two different perspectives. One is integrating the best of both. Technological disruption, as somebody was mentioning, AI, automation, data science, all these are on the one side. As somebody was mentioning, the previous speakers, eminent speakers were mentioning about the ecological balance, the sustainability, the ecological crisis, and achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. That is there in the middle. Ethical dilemma is, how do you bring forth validated ethical data into this scenario? How do you govern it? And the biomedical ethics concerned with this. These are all the factors to be integrated before you bring IKS into the core content of curriculum, either for UG, PG, or research. And for your information, I am now grading 2 students in the area of IKS. One is doing in the area of astronomy, another is doing in the area of my own computing. So 2 students I have inducted into my research for PhD. They have just joined. I have given them the problems to ponder about, think about. This I am very proud to share with you. I am going away slightly from the computing more towards IKS. So anybody sitting here can always find time to learn IKS, migrate yourself into the IKS. Recently I came across a person, a government bureaucrat who is planning to do research in cultural economics. And he is working with in the area of the cattle's cultural economics, thereby integrating IKS into his stream of knowledge. And this person is an economics doctorate. He is planning his work for the postdoctoral fellowship. You see, this is the freedom what we have with IKS. It can penetrate into any stream. Just to motivate you, I am telling this. Okay. So IKS is never a replacement, but it's a powerful compass. So let us take the IKS as a whole. What it benefits is a society. What it touches upon will be the nature. What we use will be our body and the mind. So here body, mind and the intellect given to us by the universe to the human beings. Here the intellect will be touching upon the nature and the society. Therefore, the IKS offers a civilizational continuum of knowledge to navigate the modern complexity. The goal of IKS is to develop value-based, experiential, purpose-driven adaptation of knowledge. Therefore, there is a lot of scope for integrating this into the academic curriculum. So, it should be from the interconnected wholes. From fragmented silos to the interconnected wholes. Here, there is always an interdisciplinary learning comes forth. It comes forth, automatically it comes forth. Then, the contextual relevance we should take into account. You cannot overrule science, the modern science. Therefore, that's what I said, it's not a replacement. From the individual gain, you should think about the societal well-being. These are the three main pillars of IKS. Therefore, how do you make the foundation for this? The holistic integrated worldview, which means the old practice of just mugging up something, practicing something, that should be replaced by a value-based dharma. The knowledge is inseparable from ethics. That is the first thing we have to agree upon in the realm of IKS. Because Indian knowledge systems are all deeply rooted in one word, dharma. That is the basic foundation upon which you are allowed through your practice or the abhyasa, the experiential knowledge, it has to reflect through two stages. One is practice, another is reflection. So, here in the practice and reflection, we will go to the next slide to see how you do it. So, the knowledge ultimate aim should be towards the societal harmony and the collective well-being. This is where the brain to the intuition, that should be the connectivity. Mind, brain, intuition. This is the connectivity. Shravana, attentive listening and comprehension. Manana, the reflection of what you attended, what you learned, questioning that, the freedom to question what you learned. For example, when Dr. Ananda Ramakrishnan was presenting, he was telling about all the pitfalls of some of the dilemmas, what he faced, everything. I was listening very keenly. So I was reflecting upon how when the CSIR makes use of science to generate money also, what are the dilemmas, what he faced, and what went wrong. So this is possible using the reflection, questioning, and critical thinking. So in IKS, every field when you apply, whether you apply it in agriculture, technology, manufacturing, architecture, all this, the Shravana, what you heard, what you listened, what you learned, Manana is required. Reflection, questioning, and critical thinking. This is what our Rishi said, Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam again is internalization of the real world adaptation or application. So this is a process of the whole IKS. So the most effective pedagogy will be experiential learning, inquiry-driven problem solving, reflective practice. This is the entire philosophy of applying Indian knowledge into whatever practice you are doing. So here, what is essential in all these exercises, Shravana to Manana to Nididhyasana, what you need is Shraddha. Shraddha is, so Bhagavan told Arjuna, Shraddha avan labade jnanam. Only one who has a keen attentiveness to learn, through these 3 stages of learning, can acquire learning. This is the philosophical blend of the philosophical foundation of the Indian knowledge systems. Whatever knowledge you are acquiring through the Indian systems, the Bharatiya knowledge. So, the Bharatiya Jnana Sambhoshanam, what the ministry has named it as, the translation as IKS, involves these 3 stages. Therefore, what we have to, these are all the fundamentals I am telling. So, suppose now you take into the integration before coming to the academic curriculum, etc. Let us take an example of integration. The IKS epistemologies, texts and methods, they form the analytical framework only. You should take the analytical framework from that. For example, suppose you are building an architecture. You can have the analytical framework from the textbook. Suppose you are putting in a law, Arthashastra can give analytical framework. But how do you practice it? That is where the theoretical source is not only the cultural artifacts. There you have to consider the cultural artifacts of that. How it penetrates into the society, into the individual person. So here, the environmental studies should not avoid the Panchamabhutas, the Panchabhuta, and how we apply the Panchabhutas concepts into every environmental studies. 5 elements, the 5 elements which constitutes the environment also. So environmental studies should be associated with the 5 elements and the further division of 5 elements into 24 elements. Into the 25 elements. Chadurvimshadi Tatteka Sarupaye Namo Namaha. There is a namam in Lalita Sahasranamam. Chadurvimshadi, it means 24. The principle behind these 24 emanating from the 5 Buddhas. So the philosophical principle embodying Sarupaye, embodying, that should be considered in every artifact of physics, chemistry, material science, nanotechnology, everything. This is all what the Rishi says. We should not forget that. There the Indian knowledge systems plays an important role. Therefore, the mathematics, Sulabha Sutra, for example, Sulabha means the chain or whatever, the cord or thread which links together many things. Sutra are the formulae. The Kadabhyadi Ganidam. All these, there are modern applications which has come from the IKS. Therefore, mathematics is one binary code which contributed towards building a computer hardware. So, health sciences, holistic balance, mind, body and consciousness. Mind, body alone can be united. Consciousness plays an important part. So, the emotional intelligence, one of my candidates finished his doctorate in humanities, but he was working on emotional intelligence. He took a lot of help from psychologists. So, emotional intelligence, which has 4 quadrants, the self-action, societal action, self-correction, societal correction, all these 4 quadrants of emotional intelligence are deeply connected with our consciousness. This, the modern psychologists also agree. How do you connect it? This knowledge should be derived from IKS. I am only just mentioning some examples. Mathematics, the Sulabha Sutra. demonstrates how Indian knowledge forms the bedrock for contemporary computer technology. Environmental studies, health sciences, integrated medicine is now an expanding field of medicine now. Every big hospital has an integrative medicine department now. So, the recoding of humanities. For example, when you come to the performing arts, the Rasa theory, the Navarasas, define the emotional facets of outward depiction of your emotions inside. So, how the Navarasa theory can be invoked onto the different bhavas, and that is applied even in the analytical tool for cinema, theater, advertising, decoding, all this. You see, there are no areas not touched upon by IKS. Just to show this only. Material innovations. The Rasa Ratna Samuchaya, what was formulated in 13th century before Christ. So, there's a foundational text in Indian metallurgy and material science. Therefore, the Rasaratna Samuchaya defines the key concepts of conceptual alignment or the framework for learning more about nanomaterials. You see, rediscovering the models of ecological resilience. Vriksha Ayurveda, here is one experience which I have, I will share with you. One agricultural taxonomist in Haryana, I forgot his name, about 3 years back, he sent me a paper. He formulated a formula for a particular manure for agriculture, consisting of about 16 elements. And this he formulated, he did it, he tested in plants and all. He sent it across to me, the paper. Plus he added one paragraph. I have formulated it out of a shloka from Vriksha Ayurveda, which is a branch of Atharva Veda. From Vriksha Ayurveda, he took it up. He formulated it. He tested in his lab, in his fields. Now, Haryana government has adopted this Vriksha Ayurveda concept, this formula, and they made a manure called as Kanaba Jalam. Because this shloka is written by Kanaba Muni, a rishi, and they named it as Kanaba Jalam. It's an excellent manure. I made it in our campus, Kanaba Jalam. I just made a sample of it, using all these 16 elements collected from nature. It is excellently working. Therefore, just one example, if there is any agricultural scientist, you can think over it. I can share with you the paper sent by the agronomist. This is the whole process of making the Kanaba Jalam. Natural alternative chemicals to the organic liquid manure, to the nutrient base, microbial, all this finally outperforms all the chemical fertilizers. This PPT is already here. Anybody can take it from. I permit the organizers to share with anyone this PPT. And the text file only of these PPTs are also written in sentences. I have shared the word file also here. Anyone can take it. It's not mine. It has come from nature, so I don't own it. So the purpose-driven leadership, Arthashastra, Nidhisaram, Agama Shastras, for example, the temple management, from the architecture to the final, even the festival, temple management consists of Charyapada, the conduct and ethics, Jnanapada, the knowledge and philosophy, Yogapada, the meditation, discipline of the one who is doing the pujari and managing the temple, Kriyapada, the rituals and the actions. You see, this has come out of IKS. If a temple is not managed adhering to these principles of 4 padas, temple management will not function well. That is what is happening now in Kerala. People are violating the 4 aspects of these charyas, these contexts. So the temple management becomes difficult. Just some examples I am taking for purpose-driven leadership, to the stakeholder responsibility, to the ethical governance. Now, I will finally come to how do you put this theory into practice. Traditional, for example, the lab directives, one example. When the traditional materials and modern characterization, comparing the Western and Indian theories, indigenous sustainability practices, these are all some of the laboratory experiences. Now we come to how do you integrate it into your curriculum and the syllabus. This is a blueprint. This anybody can implement it in any of the universities where you are working. This is an excellent document what we have compiled after our discussions. You see, a structured credit approach for UG and PG programs. First semester, suppose there is a UG program containing 4 years, including the NEP, 3 years. First semester, you just introduce the concept of IKS, nothing but concept of IKS. Second semester, you may be wanting to introduce in mechanical engineering. You may be wanting to introduce in agriculture. You may be wanting to introduce in medicine. Second semester, again, 1 credit, 15 hours of class only, not more than that. IKS concept related to that domain. Then, third semester, you introduce an advancement of that, what you have taught in second semester, advancements on that. Fourth semester onwards, you introduce specialization. For example, you are introducing in civil engineering. After third semester, you start introducing architecture. You start introducing the building materials. You start introducing more. All 1 credit courses. By the time a student of a UG program finishes 6 semesters, concerning that program, how the Indian knowledge systems, what is the contribution of that student would have learned. In just 1 credit, 1 credit, 1 credit. By the time they finish the 8th semester, the IKS would have penetrated into the mindset of that particular student. Simple procedure. Similarly, the 8th and 7th and 8th semester also. So we can start with a comprehensive credit IKS framework from the 1st to the 6th and 7th and 8th. It ensures a strong foundational understanding without overwhelming the core curriculum. See, the focused module provides substantial context for advanced interdisciplinary work also. That's the way you can introduce. Then branching out, again, you can branch out to computer science, architecture, whatever, domain-specific specializations from 7th and 8th semester onwards. These are all possible. We discussed some examples. Therefore, it should become mature itself after 3-4 years into an independent academic program suitable for postgraduate education and continued research. Research you can even initiate, take a specific topic and do the research now itself. There is no problem for that. So the ultimate goal is not isolation, but connection. This interdisciplinary dynamic academic environment where the ancient wisdom and the modern inquiry inform and enrich each other. So where do you see it? 6 to 8 credit framework, Sprout, foundational UG PG programs, sapling, domain-specific integration, tree, independent academic program, forest, interdisciplinary linkages. That should be the pathway for including it in the academic. So this last slide, we are not just adding credits to your curriculum, nurturing a new generation of leaders, innovators, and thinkers who are rooted in their heritage, prepared for a global future. So, from the traditional Indian scholarship the Pratyaksha to the Anumana to the integrated interdisciplinary language and research that impacts and fosters interdisciplinary research in sustainability, public health, social innovation, even performing arts. So, there is risk. Risk is capacity building, resource development, system support. These are the toolkits for integration, but there is these are three challenges. Faculty development for this, critical resources, research and policy frameworks. For example, the data, what you get from the critical resources, validity of the data is very important. So these are the challenges. No development is possible without challenges. Therefore, aligned with the national vision, the NEP, let us form into a bridge, a new learning paradigm, culturally rooted, ethically grounded, globally competent. Let's work together for a balanced, sustainable, value-oriented ecosystem, contributing directly to the vision of Vikasit Bharat. To what SSC has mentioned here, the transformative science and technology. Let us have transformative science, technology, and mind also into that. So that's enough. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I know it's time. Yes, please.
First of all, enjoyed your talk very much. Very important directions you have given for curricular reforms. I personally think that the name India is a 2% aberration in the 10,000 years of written history of our great nation. And I have been asking a lot of people to call this as Bharatiya knowledge system, not as Indian knowledge system. There was no India at the time of Aryabhat and Sushruta. So I am surprised that the term IKS is still being used so extensively. This is just for your consideration.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
This came to one of the discussions among us. So, Bharatiya Jnana Sambhoshanam, that's how it is actually coined. Jnana Parambara Sambhoshanam. That is how it is actually coined. But for the sake of, in the beginning probably, they are still using this Indian knowledge systems to penetrate into the mindset of the beginner probably. Yeah, this once I myself asked this question.
Parampara knowledge, these terms can be debated, but India can never be equal to Bharat.
Correct. Correct. You're right. It's a natural question which comes forth during these discussions. Once again, I'll take it to the people.
Thank you.
And where is Srikanth? Srikanth Lord.
Thank you, Dr.
He is my colleague Srikanth. We have an IKS center doing research in our campus, doing research on astronomy, physical sciences and mathematics. He is the principal investigator of that center, Dr. Srikanth.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna Kumar.
I'm sorry if I had taken more time.
Yeah, it's okay. Well received, and of course, you know that we are hardly, waiting for our lunch, so there is no much of scope for a chairman's concluding remarks. But I just wanted to ask you, sir, we have indigenous knowledge. We call it as traditional or indigenous knowledge. The one which is codified, available in the public domain. The other one is only the knowledge possessed by the individuals, communities. How do you, use them for specific purpose to refine them into products which would go to the society? The major issue is that when you take knowledge from the indigenous people, we need to ensure that the IPR issues are, because the knowledge is possessed by them. If it is in the public domain, it's okay. But when it is verbatim transferred, so if you get the knowledge and if you make it a value-added product, and put it into the industrial system. So how do you manage the IPR issues, because many a times we don't look at the ethical issues involved.
Yeah, this is a very good question, especially the medical ethics is one of the most important issues in this. For example, we can make a lot of products using Panchagavya. Even garlands and earrings, all these things are being made now using Panchagavya. But the authenticity of this, verification of the authenticity, it's a challenge. That is, three things are challenging. One is developing the skilled persons for this. Second thing is the authenticity of knowledge, validated knowledge, availability of validated knowledge. So there are slokas and books available. So relevance to it in the current domain, that also has to be considered before you actually put it into practice. That is where the questioning or the reflection comes about.
I just said this before, just an example which I represent also Tropical Botanic Garden and Research Institute. We were the first in the world to go in for an equitable benefit sharing for a knowledge being taken to shape up into a product. The product was called as Jeevani, the world model, the first and the last model of equitable benefit sharing. We got this information, it's on a medicinal property, anti-fatigue properties. So what we did was that we collected the information from them of a plant which is called as Trichoepis eilaniacus, Arogyapacha it's being called. And we refined it into a medicine, because it was entirely dependent on the knowledge system, which was never documented. It is possessed by only a group of Kani tribes. So what we did was that we made the drug technology transferred to an Ayurveda pharmacy, and the royalty that we received, we have equally shared with the community. And it stands to be the first world model, because we have a lot of indigenous knowledge, traditional knowledge available.
Medical ethics is...
I tell you, it's being looted and being made as products, and then the products have come back to us. The communities or the individuals are never being featured. So
correct.
I think as a person who has been involved in this, where and still it stands as the
correct.
First equitable benefit sharing model before the Convention of Biological Diversity, 8J, Article 8J of Convention of Biology, is an equal sharing of the profit that is shared when a knowledge is being used making a product. But in India, as you rightly said, maybe indigenous knowledge, you can term it as indigenous knowledge or traditional knowledge, but most of this knowledge are not being documented, not being validated, and I am sure that there's a treasure sitting over there if you go in for validating them and making them into. Thank you, sir, for the excellent presentation, connecting all this, and I'm sure that your suggestion to put it in the curriculum is appreciable. Maybe that we need to refine it, and probably we should tell to the youth that this knowledge systems can be used for making into valuable products by which our society's needs can be met.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and give him a very big hand.
I would like to invite Professor G.M. Nair sir to hand over the memento to Dr. U. Krishna Kumar. I invite Professor P.C. Deshmukh, ANR of Prime Minister, Professor Designate Central University of Kerala, to hand over memento to Professor G.M. Nair.